Hello everyone, as you can see I've got another makeup look for you, and I just wanted to do a very tiny intro, not as long as the one I did last time, I promise you, just to let you know that the makeup that I'm wearing is mostly high-end, and the reason for that is really to show you that there's not a difference. There really isn't. There are some eyeshadows in the high-end world that are very creamy and in their texture, and certainly yeah, I would agree, they're extremely expensive, and well, they would be expected to perform better than your drugstore eyeshadows for that. But for most makeup looks or everyday makeup, you don't need to wear those types of eyeshadows to get a really beautiful makeup look going. And so that's what I really try to translate on my channel to all of you, because most of us in the real world and in everyday life cannot afford those types of products anyway. And there's truly no need. You don't need a buttery eyeshadow to get a really good eyeshadow. So if you can understand what I'm trying to say by that. And also, there may be a couple of things that I think I didn't record in the highlight section of the video. Was a Stila highlight. It's high-end, and this little bottle is $20. And it doesn't look any different from any other highlight you've seen me use before. And you'll excuse me for dabbing at my face, but it's 44 degrees in Florida, and I think I'm getting a little sick. So if it's not allergies, I'm really truly getting a cold. And so also to let you know, the high-end liners that I chose to use are from the Sephora favorites that I mentioned to you in my previous video, so that you are aware. And this, I do believe, is a good investment, simply because you get so many eyeliners, and these eyeliners by themselves are about $20 each, and you get them all for about $29. And the lipstick is not high-end, and I believe it's called Cocoa Bears by LA Colors. I think it's a very beautiful color, but this look does translate into daytime. As you can see, there's not too much going on with a winged liner, but this is still a very sexy, smoky look, and I hope you guys enjoy the video. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye. Well, hello again. That there is a NYX concealer, and I'm going to be using that as a paint pot for my eyeshadow. And this is going to go by a little bit fast, so if I skip over things, please excuse me. I'm also catching a cold, so I may sound a little funny right now. So that is what I use as a dupe or a replacement for paint pots, and that's a NYX concealer, face concealer. It's nice and creamy, but too much for the eye, under the eyes. And then here I took Burley, and that's a Wet n Wild single eyeshadow, and set all of that with that one color. And then I took, I believe this is Nutty, it's Nutty something. It's another Wet n Wild single shadow, and I put that on my lids. It's got a very nice like gel texture to it, but it was too shiny for my hood or my crease or my socket lines, however you want to reference it. That there's an Ulta palette. I've used it before. It's Ulta Beauty, and taking the shade that's a medium, like a beige between a dark brown and a tannish brown, like a taupey type of color. And of course, as you can see, put that in my, I made an outer V shape, like a V shape in the outer V, and then took it up into the higher socket. And then that's an e.l.f. single shadow. It's got 3 different colors in it. And I'm going to be using the darkest of the browns. It's a matte, semi-matte shade. And that there's an e.l.f. brush. It's a flat liner brush. And I'm going to be taking that to just cut the crease. Taking the same shape, the V at the upside down or backwards V at the outer V of the eye. And then the LA Colors blending brush. I refer to that as a dollar store cosmetic brush, which it is, but it's by LA Colors. And then using my e.l.f. fluffy blending brush, I blended everything together. And then this is the other eye doing the same exact thing. And I'm just blending it right in that area with both windshield wiper and circular motions. And of course, as you guys should know, if you've watched any of my videos before, I will do each color at least 2 times, no less than. And here, taking the fudge, and I do believe that is called fudge. It's the darkest matte brown of that palette. I'm coming in right on top of the previous toppy color and defining that more. I'm sorry, not the toppy color, the e.l.f. brown that I took, the dark brown. This is slightly darker than that, and so I'm blending all of that together. Just, if you can tell, only working in the outer V. I have already placed my color on my lid. It's the Nutty color by Wet n Wild, the single shadow. And then here I'm coming in with a black, again from the Ulta Beauty palette. And this is going to further define the outer V and go up into the lower socket area. In my case, I take it just slightly higher than my natural crease because my natural crease is too low. I have hooded eyes. And this is it's a Echo Tools brush, but I wanted to say it was an angled. It's a smaller brush than the blending brush I was using before. Only because I'm working in a smaller area. Angled type of shape. And here I'm using that again. And this is going to give almost like an ombre effect. And also a nice gradient. And again, the e.l.f. fluffy eyeshadow blending brush. I love that brush. It's so soft. And then using that nice, like creamy looking, that's not a white, more like a very, very light, I want to say it's in the browns, very, very light tannish color. Like an off-white and tan at the same time. This here is Smashbox. It's one of the Sephora pencils in the kit that I spoke of in my previous video. And I believe I spoke of also in the intro of this video. And I'm using that just to darken the lash line and come out with a natural end to the eye. There's no wing liner here, no kitten flick. This is just me darkening my lash line with this, and I'm wanting to try out all of these eyeliners, which I almost do with the exception of one, but I've already used that one in my previous video, and that was the Kat Von D. But this one here is a Smashbox. This is a brown shade, and I'm taking that onto the upper lash line and smudging it in the lower lash line. And as you can tell, that's half of the eye. It's not the entire eye. I take what's left on the brush and smudge it into the inner part of my lower lash line, just so that it blends into nothing seamlessly. And that is an Echo Tools synthetic brush that I'm using to do this. And that's because the liner is a creamy product. And then I'm using that nutty color by Wet n Wild to further go in and smoke that out and also even it out all at the same time. I'm sorry, I have a really horrible cold. I sound like a man. I'm so sorry. And then here, I'm taking, and this one here is the Stilla. It's very like jet black, pigmented. I believe this one here is a smudge one. And when it sets, it's smudge proof. So it's kind of like water resistant. So that stays in place, and I can now tell you that it absolutely does. So you have to work with it immediately if you want to smooth it out, which is what I'm doing with the flat liner brush here, or smoke it out, either one. It is a smudge one, but when it sets, it sets. On top of that, I am going to use the Sephora one, and I'm going to go into my waterline, my bottom waterline with that, and also go over the Stilla one, but that's really going right on the lashes, and into the waterline. That one also sets quite quickly, but it gives you such a jet black line, and I'm in love with these eyeliners. I don't know if I would buy them individually because they're expensive, but they're great. Now here, using another e.l.f. product, I am further going in, and that color is like a taupey, almost like creamy color at the same time. These have that gel technology, so they come out really beautiful and creamy looking. And then taking that dark brown and smudging just the ends of the bottom, not the whole way through, just so that the intensity is more at the ends of the eye. Then curling my lashes and using my famous Maybelline Star Wars mascara. I happen to like this mascara. It is very, very close to their Real by Benefit. Very, very close. I think actually it is better pigmented. So I love this stuff. I hope it's not a limited edition, as I'll be very upset when I finally find a great mascara and I can't get it again. So okay, using now the Maybelline Brow Define, I am going to, of course, do my brows, and I'm just filling them in. Nothing special. Starting from the highest point of the brow, and then bringing it down into a natural finish. I have to fill in and elongate mine simply because the wax lady did a little bit of a boo-boo and took off a little too much hair on the ends of my brows. Not happy about that. So excuse the back noise. That's my son playing Xbox in his room, and he gets a little bit loud. And so here, taking a spoolie and blending all of that in. Now here I am using, and they are actually called, they're by Broadway, they are actually called Natural Lash. And I'm just wanting to accentuate, it's not a real glamour look, it's just to make mine a little bit more bushy, I guess I can say that way. That right there just pops the eyes real nicely. My eyes are already getting watery here, as you can tell from the cold that I'm catching, so I'm a little irritated. And that is the Bare Minerals Mineral Foundation, and that's all I did for foundation. This is a daytime natural look, so I usually play down the face if I'm going to play up the eyes, and the eyes are nice and smoky with beautiful earth tones. I love these colors, especially for daytime. And that is an e.l.f. Kabuki brush that I'm doing that with. And so here I'm going to warm up the face with the Warmth by Bare Minerals, and that is the Bare Minerals blush brush. I'll take the bulk of the product and do a little contouring. What's left on the brush I will sort of bronze a little bit with. I more use this in a blush fashion though. And then here I am going with the same e.l.f. product I used on the bottom of my lash line, but that gives us such a nice shine that I put that over the Warmth. And then getting here into the lips. And so I'm using, I don't know who makes this lipstick, but I love it because it's so bronzy and creamy. And I am going to dab some of that off. Well, I don't show it here, to create a stain. And then this is by LA Colors. It's called Cocoa Bear, I believe, or Cocoa Plum. It's one of those two. I think it's Cocoa Plum. And I'm going to dab again to create another stain, and then go in with the last application. This will make your lipstick last a really, really long time. That lip liner is by Rimmel, and it's like a plummy, brownish plummy type of color. A warm brown, plummy type of color. Sort of like the Kylie Jenner lipsticks. And there we have it. And I hope you enjoyed. See you next time. Bye-bye.